Today we're going to create a shopping bot on WhatsApp. Here in this bot, you will be able to set up a rudimentary chatbot, which is able to show the products that you have along with the prices and ask the user to make a payment. Let me show you how the experience is going to be. Once you send a hi message, it will give a introduction message to your store that, hey, I'm this YXYZ store and I'm selling the following products. And I can say, I want a chocolate brownie. And let's say it will go to a natural language processing engine, respond back with saying that, you know what, the price is rupees 199. And if you wish to buy it, here's a link to make the payment. And we'll open a payment gateway page and you'll be able to make a payment, and that would be the end of the flow. So this should give you a gist on how to configure this, and we can grow it from here on further to build a more comprehensive bot out of this. So let's get started. To build this shopping chatbot on WhatsApp, we are going to be using the QuickWork Journey Builder. And if you're not already familiar with this, there's a video link in description which has a series of 3 tutorials which should help you out onto getting started. But if you wish not to see that, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go slow enough to explain you once again on what I'm dealing with. Also, we're going to be using Dialogflow. So probably as you saw in the chat, will be accepting natural language as an input rather than pressing 1 or 2 or pressing any kind of a button. So we're going to be using Dialogflow. So if you're not familiar with this, I would suggest it would be great if you would learn it over the internet by watching some video tutorials on that as well. But again, if you wish not to do it, I'm going to go slow enough to explain you while I'm building it. Also, I'm going to be using a sheet, a Google Sheet to be more specific, where I'll be holding the prices of my products. Now this is a it's a brownie store, so we only offer the chocolate and the walnut brownie. So that's why I've just kept 2, but you can grow the list as well. Or, by the way, you can use something which is not Google Sheets and use your Salesforce, Zoho CRM, or Shopify website, anything that you wish to integrate with. So first we're going to come here and build our collection or folder called as the WhatsApp shopping bot. And I'm going to keep it private. I'm going to get started. I'm going to hit the new journey button. So let me explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to be using WhatsApp by Gupshup, which is one of the providers of WhatsApp, but you do have other options such as Twilio, Infobip, and many others which are out there. So I'm going to stick to Gupshup WhatsApp, and I'm going to say whenever a new text message comes in, we have to do something. Now, I have already linked my WhatsApp by Gupshup account, but you can link yours by clicking on the new account, link account, and filling in this basic information where instructions are written on how to get those. But I am going to focus on selecting an existing account over here. Now, type in any message that you like, and you don't need to worry about what you're typing over here. I'm going to keep it simple, hello, and I'm going to say that I don't want to send this welcome message. This is a mandatory requirement by WhatsApp, so you have to do that. Once this step is done, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to send the message that the user is going to type in to Dialogflow. The reason why I'm going to send it to Dialogflow is because I want to understand what the user is trying to say before I make any decisions. For example, if I come back to Dialogflow, you will see that I've already created an agent, which you can just click on create agent, give it a name, and you'll be on the same place as I am. And now if I send a hi or a hello, you'll see that it understands that you are in the default welcome intent. Basically, you're saying a greeting message, so you're always going to land up over here. So no matter what do you say, hey, hello, hi, hey there, anything that you enter is going to be considered as a default welcome message, which is a good thing. So let's get this Dialogflow hooked up to our WhatsApp bot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my very first action, and I'm going to say Dialogflow. And I'm going to say detect intent from text. Why? Because I want to understand the intention of the user. I'm going to establish a new connection. I'm going to press link account, and it's telling me to connect my Dialogflow by entering the project ID over here. Now I can do that by clicking on settings, and I can copy this project ID over here. Okay, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here, and I'm going to press link account. Okay, I already have a connection with this name, so I'm going to call this shopping WhatsApp bot and link account. It's going to say choose your Google account which the project is linked with. I'm going to choose mine. It's asking me to verify. Just 1 second. Okay, so verification code received. Okay, sorry for that. Once you have logged in into your account, allow, you should be able to land up on this screen right over here. Now that you're here, the form is pretty simple. Dialogflow is all it's asking you for is a unique identifier, which could be the phone number of your WhatsApp, a text message, and the language you're working in. So unique identifier for us is a sender ID from WhatsApp. So as you can see on the right hand side, you have something called as the app data tree. You can quite literally get access to the actions above in your existing working step. So you can just drag it and drop it. And this is also mentioned in the tutorial series that I was mentioning earlier. And the text message is basically whatever the user is typing in WhatsApp, I'm sending it to Dialogflow. And the language that we're going to strictly restrict ourselves is to English for now. And I'm going to press save. Now that every single text message that I'm sending is going to go to Dialogflow, let me go one step further and use a conditional logic or if condition. What I'm going to say is if the display name, so as we saw before, this is your display name, default welcome intent. You can call it whatever you want, but Dialogflow gives you this by default. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say if the display name equals, that means it matches to default welcome intent, I am going to send a WhatsApp text message to them which says, you guessed it, like, hello, welcome to my brownie store. Please let me know which of the following brownies are you interested in? Colon 1 chocolate, and 2 walnut. I'm gonna keep it chocolate brownie and walnut brownie with a space in between and a B capital for good looking presentations, and that's it. And whom do I send this to? I'm going to send this to the person who actually sent me the message, again, the sender ID. So now if I run this workflow, you will see that the following happens. I've taken the liberty of cleaning up the chat, so I'm going to send hi. And now once this message gets delivered, which it's not, yep, there you go, message got delivered. And when I say hi, it says, hello, welcome to the brownie store. Please choose what are you interested in. So we are halfway there. Okay, now what we want to do is the user is going to type in something like, I'm interested in the chocolate brownie or in the walnut brownie. Now the problem comes in that for Dialogflow to understand what you're really saying, you need to explain it in a way which it makes sense. Let me come back to you on that. Let me explain that in more in-depth details. For example, I've clicked on the new intent button, and when somebody says, I want to buy a chocolate brownie, their intention is they want to buy something, correct? The something is an entity, but the intention is to buy. So I would say that I want to call this the buy intent, because the intention of the user is to buy something from me. So I'm going to keep it buy. Now, what is that the user is going to say to express that their intention is to buy? Something like this: I want to buy a chocolate brownie, correct? Oh, there you go, fixed. Or I want to buy a walnut brownie. So this is all okay. Now, whenever you try this out in a few seconds on your try now section, you will see that it is able to identify, it being Dialogflow is able to identify that you are saying that you're interested in buying something, correct? But there's still a problem. The problem still is that we don't know what is that the user wants to buy. I can see it, that it's walnut brownie, but the computer needs a little bit more explanation in order to understand. So this NLP engine will require you to specify what really exactly you're talking about. So how to do that? It is to highlight this portion, which is the entity that you're dealing with. In our case, it's a walnut brownie. I'm going to create new entity. Now, as you can see, it has already populated walnut brownie for me. I'm going to keep this just walnut, okay? And I'm going to add synonyms to it. You can say walnut, you can say walnut brownie, or you can say brownie walnut, anything. You can say with a wrong spelling mistake, whatever. I'm going to call this brownie types. Okay, it cannot have a space, but I'm going to keep it like so. And if you recall, we had two products. So there's also a chocolate version. So it will be chocolate or chocolate brownie. Sorry for my spelling mistakes. Chocolate brownie, brownie chocolate, and I'm going to keep it restricted to this much, and I'm going to press save. Now I'm going to come back to the intents, and I'm going to go back to the buy. Now you'll see it's still nothing has actually changed, but now if I highlight this, it should show me my entity over here. But if it's not, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete these and re-add them, and you'll see the difference. Well, you don't. One sec. For some reason, it is not highlighting it. So let me go back to the entities, the brownie types, walnut brownie. It is added. Let me go back to the intents, and let me see why it did not work. Let me hit the save and try once again. Okay, there you go. It took some time, but it did work. And you should realize that sometimes this training aspect does take a little bit of time, but generally entities get added immediately. A walnut brownie, let me try both. There you go, it's now detecting it. I want a chocolate brownie. I'm gonna fix the spelling and press enter. Now what this goes to say is that it's able to identify not only what is your intention, but the product which is incorporated with it. So if I type this same message now, again, over here, you'll see the intent is still buy, but parameters now include something called as a brownie type, and the brownie type is chocolate. So this is half of our work done in the Dialogflow part. Now let us come back to the automation tool. Now what I want to do is, if the display name becomes buy, I want to first of all fetch the price of the product from here, okay, and throw it back to my customer. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to stop the journey so that I can make modifications, and I'm going to use something called as a clone. Cloning allows me to copy the exact same step below because it's quite redundant. And as you probably saw, my display name is now buy. Now, what do I prefer to do before this? First of all, I have to extract the name of the product from the dialog flow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a simple action. I'm going to drag it and drop it. And I'm going to use logger. And I'm going to log a message. Why am I doing this? Is because if you see over here in the dialog flow, I do have access to the parameters, but I have to specify which parameter do I want to extract. Currently, I see that I have brownie types as the only parameter. So here's the trick. I will switch to formula mode, and I'm going to drag and drop the parameters in here. And I'm going to say from the parameters, I want to have dot copy paste the brownie types. That's what I want to do. And I'm going to name this step is, I'm going to call this type of brownie. Now naming the step helps me identify what am I doing in this step. So it says I'm extracting the type of the brownie. Now comes a trickier section. I want to extract the price of the brownie from this sheet right over here. And now what I will have to do is add a new action. And before I send the message to the user on WhatsApp, I want to open this and use Google Sheets. And inside Google Sheets, I want to query. So I'm going to search for querying a cell in Google Sheet. Now I already have my connection established, but you can establish yours the same way like I did before. Just click and it will take you to Google to log in. Now that I've done that, I'm going to choose the sheet that I'm working with. It's called as products. So I'm going to choose products. And the workbook is called as OK1 or sheet 1 over here. Now, first of all, before that even we begin, bear with me with this step because you're not going to understand it in the first go, but I am expecting a price as the output. So I've written JSON price in here. I'll explain why I am doing that. Now comes the query string. So if you're familiar with MySQL, this should be a piece of cake, but if you're not, it's still not so hard. I currently want to get the price of a specific product. Now the product name is on the column A and product price is on the column B. So I'm going to say select, okay, B, because I want the price, where A means where the product A is equal to, quote unquote, the name of the product, and that's available to us in the 5th step logger message. And I click on it and it gets inserted over there. One last thing, what I would like to do is I would like to label B as something, which in my case, it will be the price. Label B as price. Price. That is it. Now, as you can see, this is a new label that I've added to B, and that's exactly the same I've written below here. And I'll come right now on why have I done that. See, this is, of course, this was a previous cloned message. We don't need that anymore, but we don't need that over here. We do need it on the above step. But now if I see and open this Google Sheet, you'll see that price column is visible to us. That JSON helps us identify what are the expected fields that you're going to get out from an Excel sheet. So now I can pretty much compute a message saying that your thanks. Oh, that's great, because the person has chosen a product, right? That's great. The name of the product name is priced at rupees whatever I extracted from the Excel sheet. Now let us try whatever we have done so far by starting this. And now I will say, I want a chocolate brownie. Hopefully now. Perfect. There you go. That's great. The chocolate. Okay, I should have said something in front. The chocolate brownie, because it's giving me the entity name, and I would prefer if I would specify in the front of it the product name. The chocolate brownie is priced at rupees so and so. So we have already accomplished 50% of what we wanted, actually more than that. Now all I need to do is ask the user to pay me for it, correct? Now there is the second part where you will have to, just like WhatsApp, identify your own payment provider. Now I'm using Razorpay, but you can use Stripe, you can use CC Avenue, you can use absolutely any number of those which are already integrated with here. So I'm just gonna add my own. I'm gonna use Razorpay, which is what I use for accepting payments, and I'm gonna choose create a payment link. I already have my Razorpay account linked, but you can link your own as just I showed you before. Now it's asking me for the amount, and if you recall, the amount is coming from the Excel sheet. So if I dump this in, it will go in there. Currency Indian rupees, description. I'm gonna keep the name of the product as a description. And the expiry, in this case, I'm gonna say that expire the link in 15 minutes because I don't wanna keep my prices open-ended just in case I wish to change it. And the sender ID. So that goes to say that who is this going to? Just a unique identifier for you to have in the future when somebody makes a payment. And everything else is pretty much optional, so I'm gonna keep it as it is. And now what I'm gonna do is in my WhatsApp text message, I'm gonna say, if you wish to make a payment, please click here, colon, and I'm gonna click on my payment gateway and I'm gonna search for the URL and I'm gonna click on the URL, and that's it. And I'm gonna start the workflow by clicking on the start journey button. Now let me start the workflow from the very beginning. Hi, or hello, or howdy, like you saw. And I'm gonna say I want a chocolate brownie, same as before. But now, hopefully, we should get the price along with the price link. Now if I click on this, it should open the payment gateway and say that I want to make a payment of 199 rupees, and I can enter my phone number and email to proceed. But the best part of this is that it's dynamic. The thing is, all the prices are coming from the Excel sheet. So if I change it tomorrow to, now let's say the prices have been hiked up to 799 INR. Then if I type in the same thing, I want a chocolate brownie, since the prices are coming from a Google Sheet, you'll have an updated record set of $7.99 as you can see. And if I open the Razorpay link, it will also be $7.99 because they're all coming in from the same source. So this is how you can build bots like these. Now I completely understand. This may not satisfy needs of every single customer who wants to wish to build something like this, but at least it's good enough to get you started. Also, let me just throw in a few more ideas that you can do. You can ask the user, if you choose WhatsApp and you want to do more operations on WhatsApp, you can ask a question of any kind. That means you can ask for text, number, email, phone, image, file, audio, video, location, and even a regular expression if that's what you're interested in. What will this do is, until and unless you don't answer the question, it will keep on retrying for the user again and again. So let's say if you want to ask for the address or the zip code, and you can add a validation if the zip code is correct or not, you can do all of that in WhatsApp. But I'll leave that for another tutorial where if you want to capture a survey of some kind on WhatsApp. Thank you very much for watching this video tutorial. If you found this video to be useful, please give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.